everyone, the Mature Simmer here. So welcome back to Morning on the Farm after that long day in the last episode. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the series. This is I guess I'll call it the Spotlight series on the channel. I run it every weekend. It's either a Friday or Saturday, so it shows up once a week depending on when a farming video would be due, which is every other day on the channel. But it's been a little bit off-kilter lately in that my regular FSN farm, I'm kind of in limbo as I wait for the plot of land I need to really start running crops and doing anything other than grass and BGA work kicks off. And for those who are here as regular viewers, thanks. Love having you guys back, and thanks for returning. So this is the VIP order series. I use the VIP order manager mod to kind of guide everything that happens here. And so what that means is we are working now on level 11. I've gotten the sugarcane that was on the ground delivered yesterday. We've got wheat and barley planted as well, so those are growing. Strawberries are working away in the greenhouse. Slurry is working its way out of the cows. And potatoes are the thing that I think I'm going to go ahead and tackle now. It was between going ahead and harvesting sugarcane, which is ready, and getting that order complete, but I think I need to focus first on getting potatoes in the ground. Right, so with potatoes, I don't have the equipment on the farm to work with them. I have to go ahead and lease it, which I've gone ahead and done. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this up. Now I think, unfortunately, I'm going to have to probably go ahead and cultivate the field, I think, first. Could be wrong. I'm going to give it a shot, but I'm thinking I'm not going to have that option. So I've got some potatoes, as you can tell, that are still ready to be harvested, and I'd like to not waste that if I could. Did go ahead and try to start planting. It did not work. So I'm going to have to cultivate the field first, and I've got to cultivate that and the field next to it, as I think with the 150,000 liters of potatoes, I think one of the other fields is just one of those fields is going to be too small. I believe I needed like 80,000 or something, so I got, maybe 100 off the field. So again, I'm trying to be careful and not waste. Oops, let me adjust that, because that should work fine. But you know what? I'm going to move over just a little bit, because I don't want to take any chance of destroying any crop that we have, because otherwise I'm just planting things that I don't then need. So let me lower that, and we will begin and get that cultivated. So I'm going to go ahead and get this field here on the mini map. You can see this is field 10. I'm also going to go ahead and get field 9 ready, and we're going to plant both of these with potatoes. You can see down below there that we've got, I'm worried I'm getting really close here, but at this point I'm going to let the line go. If I'm taking a few out, I'm taking a few out. But yeah, it looks like for whatever reason, I mean, it is on a line, but somehow it looks like the line's a little skewed because we're moving over. Maybe it didn't take quite a... Yeah, I guess the heading, if I look at it, is like 0.6, 0.7. It's not really snapped to the grid. I'm not quite sure why. Since I am cultivating, I'm using my strongest tractor, but even up these hills, it's a little bit of a challenge. So it's going to take me a bit of time, I'm sure, to get this done. But I'm going to go ahead and get that ready. As I was saying, we've got the sugarcane field down below that we've kind of just let go because it's somewhat like grass. Well, it's very much like grass in this case, in that it just regrows. So knowing that more sugarcane could come up, and it did come up in the subsequent VIP orders, when I was filling another order, I've just kind of left that field there because I don't necessarily need it. The field beyond it that we do own, which is field 7, again, you'll be able to see that shortly on the mini-map as we get closer. That one I've got with wheat, and then our large field 42 that's not on the mini-map is planted with a ton of barley because we need a lot of it over 2 different VIP cycles. So I'm going to go ahead and get this done. Hopefully it won't take too long. You can see at least the cultivator's got a decent width. I don't have to make too many passes here. I do have to get on the other side of those cultivated potatoes as well. I can plant some over there. Obviously the other field's going to take a little while, but hopefully in 3-4 hours of time we'll be back here still before lunchtime, ready to get some potatoes into the ground. So I'll see you in a bit. Welcome back. The cultivating is done. Took a little bit longer, but I had a little bit of a delay where I got distracted and time kept running for a bit, so didn't really take me that long, but it wasn't worth redoing things. So I'm going to get this put away, and we're going to go back to start planting the potatoes. Alright, so here on the mini-map you can see the potatoes that are good. So I didn't want to press it too much. I think it'll be okay the way I had it, but we'll see. So as we can see, this is working. Oh, hold on. I had the same problem where I was not set, so let me, alright, so this, something's wrong here. I see now. It's not as wide as I thought it was, so let me move that over. Eventually we'll get this right. It's always a bit of a challenge, just playing games, trying to get things working. Alright, so take 12. It's not quite that bad, but feels like it. So go ahead now, get this moving. You can see obviously it's planting rows of potatoes here. So I've got to, just as I cultivate it, I need to get this field and the one next to it done and planted with potatoes. Hopefully I've got enough seeds. If not, that's easy enough to remedy, but what I was starting to say is I didn't want to worry about getting close enough, and the cultivator was wider than what was there, so I'm like, you know, that little bit of potatoes I don't think is gonna make the difference as to whether we make it or not. So the nice thing here is, you know, this will work for getting things in. Now I know I've got straight rows. So what was happening is I didn't have the angle snap on. It's possible it might plant over these others, which is fine. You know, it's probably going to be several hundred liters or whatever, but when I started cultivating, the reason it appeared to be going sideways was it was in fact going sideways. Now it's looking like maybe because these are grown, it's and we didn't cultivate over it, it might actually not take them out. Let's see. Cool. Well, if I knew that, I might have cultivated a little closer, but that's okay. Alright, so I'm going to run a couple headlands up here because otherwise there isn't enough room to turn around. So it's a bit of a challenge trying to make sure you're really overlapped here. But the nice thing with the farm is, you know, a lot of the fields are pretty small. The bad thing with the farm is a lot of things are pretty small. So one of the challenges that I've talked about over and over in the series, if you've been following, you've certainly heard me, is, you know, there's only so big of equipment that we can use. Now, you know, this is the biggest potato planter that exists, so that's not the problem here, but, you know, we can't use, say, a a header on the harvester that is a 45-foot wide header, because there's no way to transport it easily around this map. There's just too many things to bump into and get hung up on. So the goal here, however, is, focusing on those VIP orders and less so on kind of sharing the work itself, because there's other avenues here. There's other series on the channel, mainly the FSN series, where I have to do a lot of real-time things that I tend to talk a lot more while I'm doing the work, because there's frankly a lot more going on, because it's all real-time in those cases, where here it's a little less hectic, a lot more calm, and like being on a farm, right? It's supposed to be peaceful, but we've got VIPs that need things from us, so it's less peaceful than one would think. But you can see, we've used quite a bit of seeds. I think we started with 8,000. So I'm going to keep going. I'm likely going to need to grab some more, as I said, but I'm thinking it'll be manageable. I should have enough in the silo. I haven't had to fill that in quite a while, but it'll be just my luck that we'll have to spend some time to go get some supplies. But luckily the supply store is just down the road a little bit, so it won't be too bad if I do need to go do that. And obviously I'd prefer to not end with too much in the planter, because once they're in a potato planter, they're kind of in a potato planter. I think that was the problem I had when I did this field, because I don't think it takes the full amount of seeds, and I kind of forgot about that piece and basically had to return the planter from the lease and lost the seeds. So I'm going to continue. I'm going to go ahead and get these fields planted, and once I'm complete, we'll see what time we've got, because it is already 1 p.m. and we still have a whole other field to get done, and this obviously is a lot slower than the cultivating, but once that is done, we'll see where we're at and see if we can get to the sugarcane today, or if that's going to have to take place tomorrow. So we'll see where we're at. I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I have finished planting the potatoes. I'm just about done now with going ahead and fertilizing. Went ahead and decided sugarcane's going to take a lot of time. I've done it enough that I realized that. And so, since I have to rent equipment to do that, I don't want to do that and then have to work well into the night and be dark. So I'm going to pick that up and do that the next day. And so, in the interim, I just decided, well, I'll get the fertilizing done, because initially I was thinking, well, I'll just take care of it in the days that everything is growing. But I had a little bit of time here, can get that done, and obviously had to pop back in anyway to appropriately wrap up the episode. So this is going to be it for this episode. We'll pick things up next time. As always, certainly appreciate it if you'd like the video and subscribe. It helps increase the reach of the channel, gets more people involved in the community, and gets more interaction going on, so that we can all chat with each other and kind of enjoy what's happening here. So love to hear from folks too, so feel free to comment below. And that is it for now. Thanks for tagging along, and I will see you next time.